Hey guys, it's Christy and I am finally back to share with you the long-awaited video about my Happy Planner. I have been working on it a little bit and making some changes, and I'm going to tell you all about that today too. But I've been kind of waiting until I was really ready to make a good video about it with a little bit of experience on how it's gone so far. So I have all kinds of goodies. Check it out, all kinds of goodies around me here that will be included in this video today. So let's get started and see what this Happy Planner is all about and how it's changing my life. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to mention, because I've been asked this on my other channel a couple of times, is where did I get my cover? Well, there's nothing special about this cover actually. This is one of the standard covers that comes available at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or on the Me and My Big Ideas website. Let's start there because some of you might not even know what this is. So, Me and My Big Ideas, that's the brand, and this is the Create 365, the Happy Planner. It has a scrapbooking origin, so if you're aware of Project 365 with scrapbooking, that's what this was actually made for. But anywho, it's one of their standard covers, and I put an adorable little trailer sticker on it. I got a cute little sheet of stickers from Walmart that was like $2. Slap that on there because how perfect is that for our life? Um, so that's just a standard one. Right now, I have the size rings that came with the book. They come with 3 sizes. This is, I guess, what's considered medium and what it comes with. And they also come in small. Let me see if I can show you that really quick. Sorry. So here is small. You can see the size difference there. And they also come in large, like so. So this is a disc-bound system, which you may or may not be familiar with. As far as I know, I think it originated with the ARC planners at Staples, but it may not have. That's just where I first saw them. And now they have used this disc-bound system for the Happy Planner. This means you can move your pages around super, super easily, which makes me really happy. And I'll show you more about that later. But that's why you have different sizes available, because you can choose, do you want to just carry around a little bit, or do you maybe want to make separate smaller books for different purposes, or do you want to go larger? So with what I have in here, which I'll be going into soon, what's included in my book right now, this size is working well for me, but I've gone down to only, I believe, 3 months in here. It comes with 18 months. So let me show you one that I haven't messed with because I just bought a second one, which is right here. And so that's the size it comes with. And I'll explain later why I have two now. But let me show you one that I haven't done anything to. It comes standard with 18 months in it, as you will see on the little thing I took off the front, 18-month planner. I have taken 1 month out of this because I moved it into my other book, but this is what you're going to get, all 18 months, all in here, and that's it. I use mine for a lot more than just a planner, which is why mine is this big with only 3 months in it. But let me just show you a basic one. This is the one that is called watercolor. If you like this one, I love it. And I'm having a hard time deciding if I'm going to switch over to this one or keep that one because it's awesome. See, here's like the scrapbooking origin. That's how else people use it. So that's pretty cool too. But one of the standard Happy Planners, I will say, they do not only have different covers, they all have completely different looks inside. Different color rings, different covers, different themes. Like this one, since it's watercolor, it has a whole watercolor theme throughout. And if you're like me and you like a lot of colors and get bored, I love that every month is also different. They have different designs, different colors for each month. So it kind of keeps it interesting along the way. And for each month, we'll just use September as our example, you have a pretty divider with some kind of inspiring saying. And you've got your little month tab, which I also like that it's labeled from both sides. And then you will have your monthly layout. Oh, sorry, I skipped something. This is for September also. So you get a monthly page, and this is also really different depending on the Happy Planner. Like my other one has a goals section that this one does not have. So you want to know that those are different too. Look at all the Happy Planners out there and see which one you like best. Then you will have a monthly spread followed by the weekly spreads. They both have notes sections on the sides. And you can use this any way you want. If you just want to use it as a regular planner, you go right ahead. But I think you'll see what fun I'm having with some of what I'm doing. So here's your October, and see it's a completely different look than the previous month. So I really like that. So that's an idea, and that's all it is in this whole planner is just the monthly and weekly stuff. So that's what you will get. They run for $30 on the website or Hobby Lobby and Michaels. And I was able to use a 40% off coupon and got this for $18. So that makes it really reasonable. It's like $1 per month for all this plannery goodness. I do want to say real quick about the 18-month thing. A little bit frustrating because they put these out every like May, June, and they begin in July every time. So if you want to buy one every year, you're going to have like these 6 extra months, which is kind of a pain. But I have a solution to that, and I'll get into that in a little bit as well. So that's, one as it comes. They sell all different colors of the rings, by the way, in separate packs too, including like a see-through pink and a see-through teal, a solid teal, the gold, silver, I think rose gold now is one of the new ones that's out. So they have a lot of colors. I think they might also have black. So now let's dive into mine. And if you remember from my previous video, I mentioned that I was combining it with bullet journaling. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that as well. And I'm going to kind of dive into some of the stuff that's around me as we go. So bullet journaling, I'll put a link below if you want to do what I did and start out and read basics about what it is. And I will tell you which parts I have incorporated. There's a lot that I am not using. Firstly, I put a little ruler in here. I just taped it on there. That was my friend's idea. That ruler comes in handy for things. These are cute little pocket pages they make, again, because of that scrapbooking origin, and I just thought some of the stuff was cute, so I made some little pocket pages. And like right now we are staying in Washington and people can send us mail at the post office there, so I'm using this section for like anything that I need to know right now, because that's something that changes for us really often in our travel life. And I've got a pocket page up front. I just bought another pack of these, guys. So they sell these pocket pages that you can put in anywhere in your book. There's that disc bound punch. That's how you stick them in there. So I just bought another whole pack because I have some plans on how I'm going to use them. Like I might make a whole other book with one of the sets of rings that I have and keep all of my stickers in the pocket pages. So I just have like a sticker book for using with my planner. I think that might be kind of fun. But in my everyday planner, I keep one of these up front because if I have letters to mail or bills to pay or something that is going to happen soon, this is where it goes. Checks to deposit at the bank, whatever it might be. It lives there, and I do not forget about it because it stays right up front. And right now I have a bunch of stickers in here, but I think I'm going to be making that separate sticker book. Then I've got a little to-do sheet. They also make these cute little notepads, okay? And this is like general to-do that has no real time frame, just stuff I need to remember. I also stuck some small coloring pages in here. So let me tell you about that. You can punch anything you want and stick it in your book. they make a punch for this that you can find at Michael's and Hobby Lobby, but it's like 20 or $30. Um, and it's very bulky. So I ended up taking mine back because it's just too much. And let me show you. And I believe we got this one at Staples. So they have a huge punch at Staples. It's like 50 bucks and also very bulky. But I believe this one was either 15 or 20. And this is a nice, small, thin little thing. And it will punch, sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand. It will punch this design into any paper you want. So if you have a note page that you took and you want to stick it in here, you want to put a photo in here, you want to put coloring page, anything you want. I was like, I hardly ever sit down to color, but maybe if I put some coloring pages throughout my book, I just might color them from time to time. So I have a couple of those in here. I was sticking them in every week, but this one went along with me for like 3 weeks and I didn't finish it. So here I have a little list in the front. Now this paper already came punched this way. This was available at Walmart. They have a disc-bound notebook there as well. It's smaller than my book, so it's not ideal, but I use it for kind of like just scratch paper that I'm not keeping forever because it is really cheap. So compared to the ones that actually fit the book. So this one is a list of things that I know I still want to put in my book that I want to make, because mine is not just a planner, it's also a notebook and sort of a personal life planner with goals and wish lists and all kinds of things like that. So these are some things I've thought of that I know I want to add. Now I was also able to buy additional dividers in addition to the month ones. This came in a pack altogether with 8 of them, and I used my label maker to make my own little dividers. So before I ever even get to the planner back there, I have kind of my own little notebook section, and I've also decorated them a little bit further with washi tape. And if you're not familiar with washi tape, here's my little collection of washi tape so far. It's sticky and it's kind of like a thin papery texture, and it comes in about a million really cute designs. I'm struggling not to like become obsessed and buy hundreds. But I got this cute little bag that was actually meant for ribbon at Hobby Lobby for $3. It has Velcro on it because it's meant to go in some sort of ribbon bag that they make, but it holds this perfectly. So my little rule for myself will be can't go past filling up the bag, and if I want more, I need to be done using some. So that's helping me with that. But they're so awesome. Like this is totally us. So I really like it. Anywho, this one is lists, and I'm using this for all kinds of things. Like right now I have an itinerary for us, and we're going to be having lists of the stuff we want to do with the kids this summer. This is that same sticker pack that the trailer came in that I have on the front. And this is like we've been planning out mileage and costs and things like that. This, I'm going to try to kind of cover people's names here, but I made myself a chart. I decided one of my goals is to keep in touch better with people. So I made this chart of people I need to keep in touch with, how often, and in what form of communication. So that's been really helping me. Still nothing on the back of that. I need to go through. These papers that we're looking at, by the way, are another pack I bought that comes with lined paper and graph paper. And it's great, but it's a little bit more on the pricey side. But I use this for the stuff that I plan to keep in here for a while. List of potential baby names as we are going through our surrogacy. Expenses. And there's like so much more I could do on the backs of these, but I just haven't. Keeping a list of books to read and listen to, ones that I already have kind of on my list. And again, I need to go through. When I start making more of my list, I need to start putting some on the back. And then I've just got another one of those cute pocket pages there. Now I also have a notes section. So like we have a whole bunch to keep track of with the surrogacy. That's all on there. Um, there's going to be a lot more in here, but I'm like 3 weeks into using this, I think it is now. So it's got just so much potential for expanding. I have a project section. I also might have tackled this one with some washi tape. And this is where I keep anything to do with short-term projects we have going on. So right now, I think the only thing in here is our smart tiles measurements. We just ordered smart tiles for our kitchen and bathroom. My goals section. My goals section means a lot to me. So that's why I put it on this divider that says good things are going to happen. I just thought that went awesome with goals. And again, some more washi tape that I cut into a cute little ribbon shape there. Let me switch back to my right hand. So this page isn't going to make sense just yet. Let me start here. So level 10 life is something I heard about. I follow this bullet journaler called Boho Berry, and I found out about it from her. It originates from a book called Miracle Morning, but it divides your life into these 10 categories: family and friends, personal development, spirituality, finances, career, marriage, fun and recreation, giving and contribution, physical environment, and health and fitness. And the basic concept is first, rate where you think you are in these areas of your life on a scale of 1 to 10. So that's what this is here. And then I went the extra step of what this first page was, is I wrote out and kind of explained why I felt I was at these specific points. Then you're supposed to concentrate on those 10 areas and write down what you think you would need to do in your life in order to be at level 10 in each area. And I was shocked at how quickly it came to me when I went to write it down. I just felt like, wow, all this was in me and I didn't even know. And then beyond that, I've broken down. So once I know what I wanted, I've broken it down into 10 mini goals that can help me get there for each category. And some of them I don't have them completely filled out yet, but I have broken down a bunch of goals. And this is giving me so much focus in life. And then the way you can incorporate this into your planner is you pick at least one or up to 3 mini goals to focus on, depending on their size, each month. So I pick goals each month to focus on that help me work toward my level 10 life, and that has been just like life changing for me. It's awesome. Then I have a classes section. I'm going to be taking a photography class, so that's why I used my little camera washi tape. But I'm also taking classes for life coaching here pretty soon. So nothing in there yet, but it is ready to go. STS stands for Spot the Scots, and that's our whole YouTube channel that we do. And so I have some notes in here for our Escapers Convergence coming up in September that we're hosting, and some notes on videos that we're planning to do. And then I did have stuff we were working on for our merchandise shop, but we're almost done with that, so that's out of here. Then we start our planner section. So now we're going to go over just the actual planner part and how I've changed it. Like, this is not just writing down your appointments and stuff, and I'll kind of show you what I've been doing. So first of all, another cute little pocket page that I thought was cute. Now, I had to make my own June because these planners start in July. So I used my graph paper and painstakingly created my own June. But I actually really ended up loving it. But at the same time, I'm glad I don't have to do that every single month. But so the first month we're going to be looking at, which I still feel it's worthwhile to show you because I want you to see the progression I've gone through so far, and how things have kind of changed along the way. But just know it's makeshift. I made it myself. So since I didn't have a page like they give us to write things down at the beginning of the month, like, of course I don't have it now. Sorry. Like this. Okay. I just did a really basic sheet. So this part, okay, I got from the bullet journaling aspect because I am not using my monthly layout for events. It's for journaling. So you have just a basic section at the beginning of the month where you have all the days of the month, and you can write things there that you know are coming up. That way when you get to your weeklies, you don't forget about these special events. And in the regular planner section, I guess I'll have to show you when I get to my July, but I'll show you how I adapted it in the real one versus making my own. And I made a whole list of goals in all 10 categories because this was before I knew so much about it. And so I was trying to do like something for every category of my life, which is way too much for 1 month, but that's what had happened here. And then for us, since we are full-time travelers, I decided to add a section of where we would be and when. So that's kind of fun. So here's my monthly spread. And instead of using it for events, it is used for journaling. This has been awesome for me. I used to journal all the time, but it's very time consuming. And I haven't done it in years because of that. So this is a great way to write a little bit about every day, but it forces you to be concise, but you've got something down of your memories. And this has been like one of my absolute favorite things. And really, it takes like anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute every day to sit down and fill it out. And then when I had more I wanted to say about something, I added it over on the side. So that's how I'm using my monthly as a bullet journal, and I am loving that. And here you have my very first weekly spread, and I will explain a little bit about it. Now let me show you one of the real blank pages that comes in the planner. They are divided into those 3 sections with a header. You should know that depending which one you choose, they do not all have a bar. Some of them only have a line. So if you like the idea of being able to write something in there, look for one that has the actual bar. And I decided to separate, now this is in the beginning and it has evolved and changed, but I decided to separate it out into events and appointments. So this is like the typical stuff you would normally write in a planner. Appointments that you have or things that are going on. And I have, phone calls and appointments and things like that. Sometimes my to-do list would work its way up there when it got too full. Birthdays, moving to a new place, that kind of stuff all goes up there in events and appointments. I'll get to this over here in a second. To do and errands is my second one, which has been very full lately. So that's just my regular to-do list, bills to pay, people to call if it's not at a specific time, videos to make, emails to send, chores to do around the house, that kind of stuff. And then goals was also like a to-do list, but this is where I would break down, the stuff that's moving me forward in my life or that is for me. Whereas this is more like your chore kind of stuff that just has to get done. So that's how I chose to differentiate it. And then I had my water tracker also on my goals because trying to get my 5 waters a day of these big bad boys, which by the way, I should drink some, is also a goal, I guess, for me. And stickers, as you can see, make an appearance, and I have a bunch of stickers that my best friend gave me, so that has been really fun. I also decorated with some washi tape because I made these myself, so there was no decorations on it like are in the real one. And then one of the things I pulled specifically from the bullet journaling concept is a habit tracker. So I decided to use my side piece for that in the beginning, and that has changed as well, and I'll show you that. And I wrote down the things that I wanted to track. Now, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily trying to do these things every day. Some of them I am, but it's just a way of tracking and being able to look and see how often you do certain things. And it can be anything you want. So that was my first week, and by the end of that first week, I just felt awesome. This is my second week, and I started using Post-its These little guys here, they fit pretty well in the boxes. So, or at least, yeah. These I made myself, and I made that one too small. So I think this is more the real size of them. And I started using that for some of our stuff because it makes it easier to move it around if it doesn't happen on the right day. And same thing with these little guys. They're ones that I could move around as well if I needed to. I still have my habit tracker on the side, but it did change a little bit. And so I have to stop and say this. One of the best concepts I also picked up from bullet journaling is stop planning ahead. Don't go ahead and fill out, that's a bad example because that's something else, but don't go ahead and fill out your week for next week or the week after or the week after. Like, even if you decide you want those 3 sections, don't go and write it in your whole planner. If you have an event, put it on that events page for the month. Don't put it in your week. If you have a birthday to remember, it goes under the important dates section. Don't go ahead and write stuff in your weekly planner because you want to allow yourself to evolve and your needs to change. So you should not fill out your next week until Sunday when it's time to do so. And I have been evolving. So my second week looked mostly like my first week, except that I changed some of the items on my habit tracker. I added in some other things and took some away that I felt were not as important for me to track. So, but other than that, it stayed the same. I kept the same 3 categories. And then this one's kind of an extra because I had made it, but this is actually included at the beginning of July. So now here, sorry, I don't want my whole budget thing showing. So here is the monthly page that comes with the planner. And remember I showed you in the other one, it didn't have a goals section. I really like having that so I can choose my 3 little goals to focus on for the month. But this is where you put birthdays and important dates that you can put in ahead of time instead of putting them on your weeklies. I thought this was just a fun little thing to fill out at the beginning of the month. I didn't think that I would like it, but it was actually really fun. So that's a little look at that. And then I keep my budget, which, sorry, I just don't want to share all the specifics, but I keep my budget now for the month on one of these little notepads at the beginning of the month. But then I want to actually underneath track the actual that we spent so we can kind of compare that later on. But see how easy it is to just take things in and out? I love that. I've got some great little dividers, which they also sell at Hobby Lobby and Michael's there. Because this, for me, shows me where my month is. And this shows me, because there's going to be other things that I add to each month. But this brings me to the very beginning of it. This one brings me to my week in my planner. And this one brings me to my week in my second planner, which I will also get to in a minute here. So now this moves on to my third week, and things started to evolve a little bit because my to-do list was always so full because I always have all my video work and stuff, and my events were usually more small, so I made an extra division here for social media and videos. And that was working okay, and I thought I'd probably keep it, but I think I have something now that might work a little bit better. This one I ended up leaving this open and I didn't end up using it, but I had put my habit tracker over here because there wasn't enough room. So when I was making my own for June, I had the whole page because it was blank. Sorry, I'm just not finding it right now, but basically this stuff wasn't up there. So I needed more room for my habit tracker, so I decided to use a little notes page there. And I didn't end up using this for anything, but I easily could have. And then, I mean, other than that, it went along pretty well for the week. And then this week is where we are now. And you'll notice a change. Still have events and appointments, but I now have personal to do and business to do. So this is going to include like the social media and videos stuff. But it's also going to be when I get into life coaching or I'm taking my photography course, because that's also sort of a business thing for me, then that can all go here as well. And then I'm now using this for to-dos that I want to have happen during the week, but have not assigned to a specific day. And my habit tracker has now moved. So here's the big kicker now of why I bought the second planner. Is I decided I want to start tracking my meals, my exercise, and some other notes. But there was just no way I was going to be able to fit that in with how full my stuff has been. Some days I'm just busting at the seams to fit everything in there. So they make a fitness planner, but I wanted something more flexible. That way, if I decide to change my categories or do things differently, I can use it in for anything. So now I still have this whole section. I wanted to put them side by side, like this week of regular planner followed by this week in the fitness planner, but because everything is back to back, it would get really confusing. So I have the whole month of my regular planner, and then I have a second July right here, which starts my whole month of what will be my fitness planner. So I've got a whole separate, sorry, that's the August one, but I've got a whole separate thing for July. So I've got another monthly planner, which I'm going to use to track. It's like going to be a bullet journal like my other one, but it's going to be specific to my health and fitness. And this one was just a practice one for me because that week has already passed. So this is what I've come up with. And this brings me to this week in the fitness section. So this is where my habit tracker has moved to. It doesn't need to be in my other planner because I consider this part of my health. And here's how I've decided to break everything up. Meals and nutrition, so basically just writing down my food in the top section. Fitness and health, it's not just working out, it's also using my foam roller and my Theracane and stretching and doing things that are good for my back health, which is my major problem. So I'm going to track workouts as well as those kinds of items there. And then daily notes. This is going to be how well did I sleep? Did I have any headaches? I could put how many hours I slept or that I just didn't sleep well. If I have any swelling, which can happen from gluten or dairy for me, what my mood is like, and especially my pain levels, stiffness, soreness, what's hurting and where, that kind of thing. I'm hoping that over time, I might be able to draw some conclusions from having those personal notes along with what exercise I'm doing, if I'm stretching, if I'm using my foam roller and Theracane, and how I'm eating. So I just really want to figure out those things about my health, and I think this could really help me do it. And then I'll probably use the monthly one for any like milestones. If I'm not weighing myself right now, but if I go down in a clothing size, or if I feel like I'm losing weight, or even if just my pain levels are getting a lot better overall, or I might use it to just write down. I had seen this idea somewhere, but use each box to write down a goal of like one positive thing for my health every day that I did, something like that. So I just literally put this in here before the video and wrote down my notes from the last 2 days. So I haven't yet figured this out, but that's how I'm using 2 planners. And right now I did have to buy the 2 planners to do it, but because it's 18 months, I was thinking that when you have that extra 6 months, when you buy your new planner the next year, then you'd have 2 for those 6 months. So I don't know what you do after that though, after those 6 months. But that was another idea that I had. So I'm very excited about this. Now I have eliminated the goals section from my everyday at this point. And again, it might change because every week I can change how I'm doing this. But I figured that now that I'm dividing this out, I can add my goals into my to-do list for personal or business. Or I can add goals on this sidebar for the week. So one of those two ways should hopefully work out for me. And I just realized I haven't checked anything off, even though we did all of that yesterday. So I might as well show you that I've been using these neon markers for all my checklists, and it's so much fun. Um, so I just go in and pick out colors. I'm right-handed, so now I have to change everything. And I just fill in my little hearts. And wow, that's really hard to do looking at the camera, so I can't look at the camera while I do that. So I just fill in my little hearts to check things off my to-do list. And I don't know, I like the look when you have a week completed and it just kind of looks like a freaking mess. Like all colorful and all kinds of stuff all over it. I like that. It makes me feel good. So it really is a happy planner because I like the way it makes me feel. This is my bullet journal so far for this month. And like I said, I've kind of moved my habit tracker. So what I really like is being able to experiment every week and keep fine tuning it to how you want it to work. So I'm trying not to plan ahead too much because I already learned that lesson. I had put some of these things in here a couple of weeks ago, and then when I decided I wanted that second bar across for social media, it didn't work anymore. Luckily, I've already done away with that now. But you can just tweak it and you can move things around so easily that it's not a big deal to just move things around, try things. A lot of people have separate books. Like I could have chosen to have a completely separate book for the fitness one versus this one, but I really want to keep it all in one. So right now, with all of my other tabs I have in here, and I also keep extra papers and stuff in the back, I only have July and August in here. June, which I created, and July and August in here. Now I can move up to the bigger rings that I have if I would like to have more months in there, which I may do. Or I might just have a whole separate book. So we'll see. I promise, even if it's not coming right away, that I will do an update video on how I work this out with having like a sticker book put together or anything like that, and how I finalize this in the end. But I am very excited about where this is going. I see next week I did put a couple things in there too, and like I said, I learned that lesson because I had decided I was going to put that social media and it just wouldn't have worked. Luckily it worked out, but I am not doing that anymore. I can't. But see, I went ahead and I did it like throughout my whole month at once, and I really shouldn't have. So don't do what I did. And then I've got another coloring page just waiting for me in here. And I did put some to-do list items ahead on my Post-its because we can't do them until then, depending on picking some things up at a store. So that is the basics, I think. They make all these specific stickers. They have new ones out now that I do not have, that I haven't seen at the store. I've only seen them on the website, but it's a line called Planner Basics. So look that up on their website because it's really cool. Let's see, what else? Oh, they also sell extra covers. So I bought this. They only came in a 3-pack. So I have 3 sets of covers that are these nice hard laminated covers. So if I decide to make a separate sticker book or anything like that, I've got extra covers. You can also have all of your extra pages. Like since I don't have this, I have the rest of the year somewhere, right? And they could be in another cover with the rings just so they are safe. I happen to have them in a box because my friend gave me the box when she gave me the planner. So I've got my little extra items in there, and all of my extra months are just hanging out in here along with like dividers and extra paper and things that I have. So you can do it however you want. I clearly have too much, and I'm trying to figure out my best way to store everything. But I think that's kind of like everything you really need to know. So basically, it's very customizable, and that's what it's all about. For me, the things I've taken from bullet journaling are the habit tracker and the actual bullet journal on my monthly layout, and then trying not to plan ahead too much and letting it really speak to you and work for you. And then I've also taken like the fact that it's not just a planner, that it's a planner and a notebook with my goals in it and my notes and lists that I want to make. That just makes it feel like it's this whole like me book. It's all about me and my life, and I am getting stuff together. I'm getting my life together. I know what my goals are. I'm working towards them. I'm tracking things. So it makes it so much more than just the planner. And then the planner itself and the way I've divided it up is really helping me too. So I hope that you have gotten some awesome ideas from this. If you look up bullet journaling, you can just use a regular notebook, and people draw their own layouts and stuff for their month and their week. And it's a whole wide world out there. I personally do not want to have to take the time to draw my own weeks and months all the time. So I love combining with the Happy Planner, and I love the disc bound system so I can move things around. I can put notes in there that are important right now, and when they're not important anymore, they come out. I sometimes will have scratch notes and put them in there with using my punch, and then if I make a nicer page of those notes that I want to keep, then I can get rid of the scratch one. You can add and remove as necessary. As you see, you can even combine more than one planner together, or you can have multiple planners. It's a really versatile system, and I just really, really enjoy it. So I hope you have enjoyed seeing how I do it, and maybe you will find a way to use it for you too. And that's my Happy Planner / bullet journal. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave me a comment. I'd love to know what you think. And if you are using one too, I would love to see it. Thanks, guys. Bye.